Hello friends, my name is Dr. T. A. Gitte. I am working as an assistant professor and head Department of Botany, Vaidyanath College, Parli Vaidyanath. Friends, today we will study family Solanaceae, which is also called as potato family or nightshade family because potato and different types of nightshades are the common plants belonging to family Solanaceae. To start with, we will study the classification or the systematic position of the family Solanaceae based on Bentham and Hooker's system of classification. Division Spermatophyta, subdivision Angiosperms, class Dicotyledons, subclass Gamopetalae, series Bicarpellati, order Polemoniales, and family Solanaceae. The different categories are categorized as per the hierarchical system of classification. Now we will study the geographical distribution of this family Solanaceae. Solanaceae is a large family of 90 genera and 2800 species distributed in tropical and temperate parts of the world. From India, more than 15 genera and 90 species have been reported. We know that tropical parts means the parts surrounding the equator where the temperatures are warmer, and temperate parts means the higher latitudes where the temperature is comparatively colder. Now coming to general characters of the family Solanaceae, general habit, mostly annual, biennial or perennial herbs are present in this family. Annual herbs include Physalis minima. Then perennial herbs include Withania somnifera, which are the examples of this. So here you can see Physalis minima plant, and this is the fruit of Physalis minima, and this one is the perennial herb, that is Withania somnifera. These are the fruits of Withania somnifera. These are the roots of Withania somnifera, and these are the flowers of Withania somnifera. Sometimes there are shrubs in this family, and example of this shrub is Brunsfelsia. Or trees are also found like Solanum giganteum and Solanum verbascifolium. Rarely there are vines or climbers like Lycium sinensis. So here you can see shrub plant, that is Brunsfelsia. This is a shrub plant. You know what is a shrub? Shrub is a plant in which it is having a crowded or bushy appearance and many stems coming together from the ground, and it gives it a bushy appearance. Then this plant Solanum giganteum is a tree, while Lycium is a vine. Now we will study roots. The family Solanaceae is having tap root system because you know that all the dicotyledons are having tap root systems. Of course, there are some exceptions, but they are few. Now here in this diagram you can see the development of root system, tap root system in brinjal plant or Solanum melongena belonging to this family. So these are the tap roots of Solanum melongena or brinjal. Then we will study stem. Stem is aerial, herbaceous or woody, erect or twining. Twining means climbing, or creeping. Creeping means running parallel to the ground, sometimes modified into tubers. For example, Solanum tuberosum. So Solanum tuberosum means potato. So this potato is a modified stem which grows underground. We know that some in some plants there are modifications of stem or root, and here the stem becomes swollen, and it, because of storage of food material like starch, the tubers are formed in Solanum tuberosum. Stem often with bicollateral vascular bundles. Now, this is an interesting part here, that it is having bicollateral vascular bundle. What is a bicollateral vascular bundle? So, when we take a cross section of the stem, there we can find different types of vascular bundles. Vascular bundle is having xylem and phloem, but here in bicollateral type of vascular bundle, xylem is situated in the center, and towards both the sides phloem is present. That is, this is outer phloem, this is inner phloem, this is outer cambium and inner cambium. On either side of the xylem, the phloem and the cambium strips are present. That is called as bicollateral bundle. The another family, that is Cucurbitaceae, is also having this type of characteristic. So here you can see the herbaceous stem of capsicum, or we know commonly it is called as chili. Then here in this diagram you can see the climbing nightshade or Solanum dulcamera, and here tuberous stem of what we know as potato, or botanically it is called as Solanum tuberosum. It is having tuberous stem. Then coming to leaves, usually the leaves are simple. Simple is a type of leaf where the lamina is entire and it is not been dissected. Then it is alternate. Alternate means it is a phyllotaxy. Each node is having only single leaf, that is called as alternate phyllotaxy. Leaf is exstipulate, that means it is without stipule. Stipule is an appendage that is present at the base of the petiole, but here in this family there are no stipules. Then the leaves are entire, sometimes variously dissected or lobed. Opposite or sub-opposite in upper part of plant, pinnately compound in tomato and potato. Now here it is a variation that in tomato and potato the leaf is not simple but it is pinnately compound. And it is having unicostate reticulate venation. So here you can see the pinnately compound leaf of tomato. These are different pinnae or leaflets, and the leaflets are arranged on rachis. And this is simple leaf of brinjal or Solanum melongena. In this image you can see unicostate reticulate venation in brinjal or Solanum melongena. So what is mean by unicostate reticulate venation? Now here you can observe that the mid vein or the midrib is prominently visible and the lateral veins are not that much prominent. Therefore it is called as unicostate reticulate venation. Uni means one and costa means vein. Only one vein, that is mid vein, is prominently visible or conspicuous. Therefore it is called as unicostate reticulate venation. Now here in this photo you can see the plant is Solanum dulcamera, in which alternate phyllotaxy you can observe. So here you have to give attention to that. On each node there is a single leaf, and this is called as alternate phyllotaxy. Now we will study floral characters of family Solanaceae. First of all, inflorescence. What is inflorescence? Inflorescence is a bunch of flowers or group of flowers arranged on stem. Inflorescence is generally cymodes. Sometimes cymodes means definite inflorescence, or sometimes solitary flowers, that means single flowers. For example, Datura species, Datura stramonium. Sometimes extra axillary scorpioid cyme called as rhipidium is present in some plants like Solanum nigrum or umbellate cyme, for example Withania somnifera. So you will see all the images in a minute. Generally inflorescence is cymodes one, that is definite inflorescence, and in some plants there is solitary or single flowers like Datura. Here you can see different types of inflorescence. This is a single flower, this is a rhipidium. So here also you can observe rhipidium of Solanum nigrum, that means flowers at the same level are present. This is umbellate cyme of Withania somnifera. So what is meant by umbellate cyme? So you can observe this is a terminal flower of Withania somnifera, and all these flowers are under the terminal flower and which are subtending or supporting the terminal flower, and all the flowers are arising from the same point. That is called as umbellate cyme type of inflorescence, which is present in the member of this family, that is Withania somnifera. Now coming to flower. Flower is a bracteate in case of Petunia, or ebracteate in case of Withania. It is pedicellate, that means a stalk is present. It is bisexual, that means androecium and gynoecium both are present. Actinomorphic or weakly zygomorphic due to oblique position of the ovary. It is pentamerous and hypogynous, that is ovary superior. Here you can observe the bracts in the Petunia flower. B1, that is a bracts of this flower of this Petunia plant. This is ebracteate flower of Withania, that means without any bract. Now calyx. Calyx is the outermost accessory whorl of the flower. Sepals are 5. Gamosepalous, that means sepals are united or fused with each other. Valvate estivation. Persistent. Now the term persistent has arrived here. Persistent sepals means the sepals remain as such or intact even after the formation of the fruit. That is called as persistent sepals. Rarely the sepals are 4 or 6 and often enlarging, becoming large to envelop the fruit. For example, Physalis and Withania. So here in the left side image you can see Physalis sepals, and on the right side you can see Withania sepals, which are enlarged and they are present even after the formation of fruit, that is persistent sepal. Estivation is valvate. So this is the best example of persistent sepals found in our familiar tomato. Botanical name of tomato is Solanum lycopersicum. Earlier it was Lycopersicon esculentum, now it is been changed. Here you can see fruit has been formed, but the sepals are intact. Therefore they are called as persistent sepals. Then coming to corolla. Petals are 5, gamopetalous, that means petals are also fused. Rotate to tubular in Solanum and sistrum. Shape of the or form of the corolla is rotate, that is wheel shaped. So here in the left side figure you can see sistrum corolla, that is rotate one or wheel shaped or bell shaped. On the right side you can see Atropa, bell shaped corolla, bell like appearance. This is sistrum rotate or wheel shaped, and this is bell shaped corolla in Atropa. Usually alternate with sepals. Corolla, that is petals, are alternating with the sepals. Rarely bilipped and zygomorphic. For example, Schizanthus. So in some plants like Schizanthus, the corolla is bilipped, forming two lips. Usually valvate estivation, sometimes convolute. Estivation is sometimes convolute, means twisted estivation is found in the species of Datura. So here you can see Petunia having infundibuliform or funnel shaped corolla, Schizanthus having bilipped corolla, upper lip is having few petals and lower lip is having few petals, and this Datura is having convolute type of or twisted type of corolla or estivation. Then coming to Androecium. Androecium is the male reproductive structure in the flower. 5 stamens. Stamens are epipetalous, that means stamens are arising above the petals. Alternipetalous, that means after one petal stamen is there situated, then petal, then stamen, like that alternately petal and stamen, that is called as alternipetalous arrangement. Filaments usually of unequal length, that means some stamens are longer than the others. Stamens are only 2 in Schizanthus. In Schizanthus number of stamen is 2, but usually there are 5 stamens, and there are 4 stamens in case of Salpiglossis, and when they are 4 they are didynamous. Didynamous condition means number of stamens is 4, in which 2 are short and 2 are long, that is called as didynamous condition. Anthers are dithecous, that means having 2 cells, usually connivent. What is meant by connivent? It is forming a cone by coming close together but not actually fusing. Example of connivent is Solanum. Anthers opening either lengthwise or by terminal pores. So here you can see unequal stamens in Espadea plant and alternipetalous condition in case of Datura. Now in this picture you can observe that Schizanthus is having only 2 stamens. Connivent anthers are present in Solanum, that means cone shaped anther, broader at the base, tapering towards the apex. Then didynamous condition is found in Salpiglossis. Here you can see number of stamens is 4, 2 are shorter and 2 are longer one. Now Gynoecium, that is female reproductive structure in the flower. Gynoecium is bicarpellary, that means it is having 2 carpels. Syncarpous, syn means fused. Carpels are 2 and they are fused to each other, they are inseparable. Carpels obliquely placed in the flower. Ovary superior, bilocular, having 2 locules. Bilocular means 2 locules or 2 compartments. Numerous ovules in each locule. Exile placentation. Placentation type is exile. What is meant by exile placentation? The ovules are arising from the axis of the ovary. We will see in the image in a minute. Often the placentae are swollen. Here this point also you have to observe. So I am going to show you the image of tomato, in which you can clearly see the placentae are swollen. sometimes carpels divided by a false septum. What is meant by septum? Septum means wall, and which is a false one. Style simple with entire or two lobed stigma. Stigma may be entire smooth, or it may be divided into two lobes. Sometimes the carpels are more than two, for example capsicum or chili. And also the number of locules is 3 to 5 in Nicandra. So you will see in the image a hypogynous disc is usually present. Now here you can see bilocular ovary and exile placentation in case of tomato. Here you can observe there are two locules. This is locule number 1, this is locule number 2, and ovules are arising from the axis of the ovary. And you can see the placentae. What is meant by placentae? The ovules are arising from the placentae, the tissue that is becoming swollen. So why I am showing this tomato fruit to you? Because you know that after fertilization ovary is transforming into the fruit. Therefore whether you take the transverse section of the ovary or fruit, the arrangement is same. The ovules that will become seeds in the fruit. Now here you can see datura flower in the longitudinal section. All the parts are visible here, right from pedicel to thalamus to oblique position of ovary. Then there are stamens, there is petal, then in the middle there is style, and on the top it is stigma. Here you can see on the left hand side and right hand side both the pictures are same. Oblique position of the ovary in Atropa plant belonging to this family. The position of ovary is not straight, it is somewhat oblique, and because of that the flowers are slightly zygomorphic in this family. Now here I had mentioned Nicandra. In Nicandra the number of locules or compartments in the ovary are 3 to 5. So here on the right hand side you can see the number of locules is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 locules because of the false septum formation or wall formation. Then coming to fruits and seeds of family Solanaceae. Fruit usually is a berry, for example physalis and vidania, or septicidal capsule, for example datura. Seeds with abundant or copious endosperm and straight or curved embryo. So here in the picture below you can see berry fruit of tomato and berry fruit of vidania. What is the difference between these two? Here in both the cases the calyx is persistent. The only difference is that in vidania the calyx becomes, sepals becomes enlarged and they envelop the fruit, whereas in tomato the calyx is persistent but that is not becoming large. Then the capsule type of fruit is found in datura. This is the entire fruit and this is the opened up fruit of datura, that is capsule of datura. Septicidal, septa are there, wherever there are the septa, that septa are broken and fruit opens up and the seeds are visible, and that seeds are later on dispersed. Pollination and dispersal. Pollination is entomophilous, that means the insects are the agents of pollination. Bright and showy petals, presence of nectar secreted by nectariferous disc, and Strongly scented flowers of several members of this family are the main attractions or chief attractions for insects. Dispersal of seeds takes place mainly by birds and animals and sometimes by water. For example, Atropa. This is the floral diagram of the type specimen of this family, that is the Datura metal. So here you have to study the floral formula as well as the floral diagram. So I shall read the floral formula: E bracteate, E bracteolate, actinomorphic, E bracteate, E bracteolate, actinomorphic, bisexual, K in bracket 5, that means calyx, sepals 5 and bracket denotes the gamosepalous condition. Then C in bracket 5 means petals are 5 and they are also fused, that means gamopetalous condition. A5 and A and C, they are shown by arrangement attachment, that is called as epipetalous stamens. G2, that means carpels 2 and ovary superior. So here it should be underlined, G should be underlined. Now coming to floral diagram, here you can observe that there are 5 sepals which are gamosepalous, that means they are fused. Fusion is shown here in between the two sepals, and estivation is valvate. None of the sepal is overlapping the other, therefore it is valvate estivation. Then inside two sepal there are petals, these are petals that are also 5 and that are also this type of gamopetalous condition. Then inside two petals, these are the stamens which are shown attached to the petals, that means epipetalous condition. And in the center you can see tears of ovary, exile, placentation. All the ovules are arising from the axis of the ovary. So this is the floral formula and floral diagram of the family. On the top you can see the axis of the flower. Thank you very much. So this was the part 1 of family Solanaceae. In the next video we will study the part 2, in which economic importance and diagnostic features that I shall tell you. Stay tuned. Thank you.